Mayday, 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 161 Mike Zulu, light sport airplane, white, type Tango Lima 20, one person on board, engine failure, ditching in Donnell Lake, 6,100 feet elevation, 40 nautical miles east of Westover on a heading of 77 degrees, squawking 7,700, ELT and PLB activated, 30 seconds to impact. We'll set her down near the dam. Need assistance. Practicing forced landings, though certainly not ditching in water, is something all pilots do. But let's face it, it's all too easy to get in a rut in which your practice forced landings fail to reflect real-world flying conditions. So I've developed a novel forced landing practice method which helps me to maintain much more objectivity. This in turn better prepares me for the next real-world forced landing I may have to make. Anyway, let me show you how my system works. Then you decide if it's worth adapting to your training regime. First step, create a glide table for the airplane. My glide table is typed, laminated, and stays in the map pocket next to me. Glide table values are derived with an online calculator. Enter the glide ratio, best glide airspeed, and altitude. The calculator spits out several glide parameters including distances and times. My Sting airplane, however, also has a rule of thumb. Do you see what it is? Yep, a straight course at best glide speed with no obstacles, terrain, or wind, and she'll glide about 2 nautical miles per 1,000 feet elevation. With my glide table handy to assist decision making after power is cut, I'm ready for forced landing practice. Now the novel part, which is simple and no big deal. I have the person with me select, and keep it secret until we get there, a random mile along our intended flight line. This is done with a random number generator based on total route miles. Let's say we're flying 50 miles to our $50 breakfast. A random mile between 0 and 50 is selected. That's where power will be lost. This method works with 2 people in the airplane, but it can also be done solo using a smartphone and a little ingenuity before takeoff. Cutting power at random is challenging, fun, and more objective than forced landing practice we typically do. Try it and see if you don't agree. Now, here are a few examples of randomized forced landing practice.
Watts Woodland traffic, light sport 1 Mike Zulu taking runway 36 with a left 45 departure, Watts Woodland.
All clear. Looks good. Nobody on the task, nobody on the radio. Let's rock and roll. Dick. All the way back. Get that nose wheel off just as soon as possible. And hold it. Get the throttle all the way up. Let it fly itself off. Stay in ground effect. Get some speed. Oh, it's so cool today. It doesn't even want to stay in ground effect. It wants to leap right in the air. So, okay, we'll go ahead and shed those flaps real nice and easy. And let her climb. Be wide. Just trim. Oh yeah, she wants to really climb today. Okay, we'll back the throttle down just a little bit. Get rid of that auxiliary fuel pump. Let her rest.
Watts Woodland traffic, light sport 1 Mike Zulu is upwind off runway 36, climbing through 1,100, turning left 45, departing northwest, Watts Woodland.
Uh-oh. Just got a message. And it's bad news. I just lost my engine. Pull it back to idle. First thing I do is establish best glide, 70 knots, and see where the heck I am. I'm 2.6 from the airport, but I've got only 1,300. That's barely enough to get back, but not enough with a 360-degree turn. So let's look for the best field. Lucky me, there's one right at 9 o'clock, a harvested hay field. Okay, and I've got enough altitude to swing around on that and land. That's a hill, so I'll land uphill into the wind. Okay, we'll just keep that best glide speed, 70. Get out here and get in position before I do any flaps. Got 900 feet left, so I've got almost 2 miles. And we're pretty much right over the field, so I've got plenty of altitude to make it.
Watts Woodland traffic, Light Sport 1 Mike Zulu is 3 miles west of the field, 700 feet, simulated engine out, field landing, Watts Woodland.
Okay, still got 70. I'm going to go ahead and pull her back to 60 knots and get 15 degrees of flaps. And get ready to shed some altitude and get down into that harvested hay field. Alright, I can get full flaps now because I've got it made. I'm going to stay up on this easterly side. It looks a little flatter, but it does go up the hill. And I need to shed a little more. Okay, that's looking good. 60 knots. Alright, and we've got that field made. Power up. Get rid of that first notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps. Let her climb. Oh wow, another stellar day flying in Central California. On the way to Lamson Field at Clear Lake. Cruising at 4,500. 110 knots indicated, 118 ground speed. Drinking about 4 gallons an hour, smooth as silk. Uh-oh, I think I just got that sinking feeling again. Yep, engine out, I just lost power. Pull her back to idle. Immediately get that best glide going, 70 knots. We're starting out at 4,500 feet, but we got some high terrain underneath. Over 3,000. Okay, best glide established now, nearest. Okay, Lake Berryessa air. Oh, that's for seaplanes. That's not going to do it. However, I do know there's an old land strip on the island near that, which would be about 5 miles, elevation 600 feet. We can definitely make that. Okay, we'll keep 70 knots. We'll go for the island landing strip. Get some wind. Let's see where that wind is coming from. Got a tailwind. Oh, that means we could easily make that island. We'll get out over the island and then corkscrew down to it for a field landing on the old airstrip. Oh, now I see sort of an old road there. That could have been the airstrip. Come in off the water and land up a slight grade. Okay, now 1 notch of flaps. Get her down to 60. Doesn't look real smooth. It's going to be bumpy. Not what I envisioned, but too late to change now. Here we go. Okay, and we got that field made. Power up, shed 1 notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps. Yeah, there's a lot of tall grass in there. That would have been a pretty dangerous one, but that was the choice I made.
The problem is, of course, you're not always going to have your friend altitude on your side. If you fly a lot and use your airplane for a range of different functions like I do, sooner or later you'll be spending some time down in the zone, close to ground, whether it be for business or pleasure. In this case, it was a bit of both. I was having fun, all right, flying transects at 300 AGL and below, while recording age and sex of deer for California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Just keeping my connection to my roots. By the way, Did you see both groups of deer? They fly by pretty fast at 125 miles an hour.
Oh no, not now. Huh. Engine out. Power to idle. Best glide 70 knots. No options. Okay, I'm gonna have to put it in the water, and I'm not ditching and ending up upside down in the water. I'm going to plan B, the whole plane parachute. Okay, let me get it to the edge of the lake, where I don't have to swim too far to shore, and go for the whole plane parachute. Okay, this ought to do it right here. Goodbye, airplane. I hope this parachute pulls and works.
Bom, bom, bom.